Hey everyone, this is MrAddOil again, helping you fight your today for your better tomorrow. Next, we want to talk about building good habits. So I scoped out 7 good habits that I've learned from my 18-month journey preparing for coding bootcamp, and I added a couple during my reflections of, I could have added these habits to improve and better my workflow for preparing for a coding bootcamp. So these are the 7 habits. So my advice prior to jumping into these habits is to take 1 week and pick one habit that you want to work on and work on that habit for that particular week. This will help you ingrain that habit into your weekly life, and it will just create greater efficiency and effectiveness in the future. Versus if you were to try to build all these habits all at once, you're kind of setting yourself up for success, because each habit will, if you haven't practiced any of these habits before, creating a new habit will be strenuous and it'll be pretty annoying, right? Your body, your mind won't be really used to doing this, and then it will reject these new type of practices that you're trying to bring into your life. So my advice is, before you go gung-ho and try to tackle all the habits, just pick one habit per week and just work on that. Now let's talk about habit number 1. So being goal-oriented is a very powerful habit to create. Without setting goals, you can't accomplish anything, right? I mean, you can be like, my goal, like New Year resolutions, right? It's just the first month of 2019. A lot of people probably created New Year's resolutions to go to the gym more often, lose more weight, eat healthier, but they're just verbally saying that, right? And then when you're just verbally saying something, that's not a goal, that's just a wish. But it becomes more powerful when you take that thought and transform it into a goal. And then in this habit, I'm gonna kind of talk about the way I approach goals, right? I use this methodology or this goal framework called OKRs, which stands for Objectives and Key Results. I've learned this from working at an HR tech company in the past, and then I just really love this framework. I think it makes a lot of sense. So you take a goal and you break it down into 2 components. Objectives, right? Objectives will be qualitative statements like, I want to make more money in 2019. And then key results are the tangible, results-oriented parts of that goal that you can measure and track. For example, so we'll take that example of, I want to make more money or whatever, lose more weight in 2019. Then the key results will be, I will go to the gym 3 times a week. So that way you can actually track the success of your goal per week, which gets to my second point. Like, the whole point of OKRs is you build them out. You have like a year. The way I do it is, you have like a year OKR or a goal that you're trying to hit. I recommend only creating 3 to 4 goals per year. And then you take each of those goals and then you try to implement them into quarters of the year. So quarters, there's 3 months in a quarter, right? And then you create mini OKRs per quarters that cascades, or it loops up to your main year goals. I'm probably gonna dedicate a whole blog post and a video on OKRs, because I think it's a really important concept that a lot of people don't really practice. It's practiced in the corporate startup like business scenes, but I think it's very beneficial for you to try them out or implement it in your own life. So the way I do it is, I set my OKRs for the quarter. Each week I set something on my calendar to review those OKRs, and I just update the key results in my OKRs per week to know where I'm going. Habit number 2 would be time management, and then I would take it a step further and be like calendar management. So this is a really great habit to build if you are not organized with your time, meaning that you don't even know that time flew by as you're like watching a movie or playing video games. That's just a really bad habit to be in, and I'll set you up for failure when you're actually doing a coding bootcamp, because your body will be in shock because it's very rigorous and during a coding bootcamp, every second, every minute, every hour is super precious for you to improve and build your skills as a software developer, right? So this habit requires you to use a calendar app of some sort. I use Google Calendars, and for you to start based on certain events in your day or in your week that are repetitive, you have to scope out a time block in your calendar and then put them on a repeating basis, right? Like for me, during right now my coding bootcamp, like I have to do a part-time job to like keep my burn rate at a break-even point per month. So from 6 to 9, I drive Lyft to mitigate having to burn into my savings account. So I put that on my calendar, and it's a repetitive event from Monday to Friday. Then I also put in time blocks for exercising, eating, sleeping, and all that stuff, right? So I put it all there. And then for even learning events, whether it's attending a live webinar from my bootcamp or just like algorithm practices, like put them on the calendar so that I know that when 1 p.m. comes up, then I have to do this activity, stuff like that. And then another powerful benefit of having this practice and habit in place is you get to have some sort of self-accountability for yourself, right? Where you can look over your week, your day, and be like, oh, I invested 5 hours studying software development. Or if you had a really bad day and then maybe you took more naps or you did something else, you'd be like, oh, I actually invested more time into like fun versus studying. And then this helps you be accountable and readjust yourself for the next day. And that's the most important way to dictate your success, right? If you can control and track how your day goes and then the outputs that you're putting per day, then that helps set you up for success in the future. And then that starts by having a good time management, calendar booking habit. And habit number 3, physical exercise. So I don't know, there's like a stigma, or it's like a negative connotation that, you know, software engineers are like, you know, fat. They just sit on their butts all day and just code. I don't know. I don't want that to be that type of description to fit me. So for me, I value physical fitness and physical activity more, not just for like having a body, like ripped muscles, but also because of the other benefits of physical exercise, right? When you're physically in shape, when you do physical activities per day or just 4 to 6 times a week, you will experience like a big boost in energy. Like when I don't exercise for a couple of days and I just eat and I just sit on my butt, or my physical activity is very low, like I can feel it in my body and even in my mind that I'm dragging. But after I go to the gym, swim, do some cardio, do some weightlifting, stretching, yoga, then I feel my body having more energy, where I take this energy and I reinvest it in tackling hard tasks. So it's like the concept of, if you ever read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teenagers, highly effective people. I think I read that teenager book when I was a teenager, but there's a concept of sharpening the saw, and then that concept really fits well with physical exercise, right? You want to reinvest in yourself, take care of yourself, so that this input that you're putting in, which is the physical activity, working out, will generate a greater output, which is helping you maximize your efficiency and effectiveness when you're tackling mentally draining tasks or other tasks throughout your day. Cool, so we're on habit number 4 that you should try to develop, which is becoming a weekday vegetarian. Some of you guys were like, whoa, what does that have to do with anything about preparing for a coding bootcamp or just anything in life? Why are you telling me to work on what I eat? Well, I was kind of like you in the beginning, right? I was like, whatever, diet doesn't mean anything. I'll just eat whatever I want, I'll work out, and life will be gravy, right? But I tried it out, being a weekday vegetarian for like 2 weeks straight when I was working at my last job, because I realized that, I felt this in all the other previous jobs, but which was, I will wake up in the morning, go to work, and I'll just feel really tired. For breakfast, I'll eat like some sort of meat product and like dairy products, or just something with meat, right? Eat that for breakfast. And then when I'm working, I just feel very tired. And then lunch comes around and I eat like a big meal with lots of meat and stuff. And then after lunch, like I feel super sleepy and want to take a nap. Like I'll just have like super baggy eyes and stuff. So I did an experiment for myself, because I also met like coworkers in the past who were just straight up vegan or vegetarians. And then I was just like conversing with them on like the benefits of being a vegetarian and not eating meat, right? And then one of them is just like having more stable energy levels throughout the day, versus when you eat meat, your energy level, or it feels good for a while, you peak, then you crash. It's kind of like caffeine, which is something that I also kind of give up on the weekdays also. But now I don't, because I'm just working from home. But I digress. So the powerful things that come out of being a vegetarian is, like I said, you get stable energy levels throughout the day, and then your body just feels cleaner, because it's just easier to digest and metabolize vegetables or non-meat related food products versus meat. Because then when you eat meat, it just drains, or it just takes more energy for you to digest that, and it causes you to be sleepy. So I personally adapted this habit into my life. So now Monday to Friday, I just pick, I just eat vegetarian type of food that I pick out from Trader Joe's. Like I eat vegetarian Indian curry, a lot of tofu, and just lots of greens. And then what I've found out, or what I felt from having this habit, is throughout the week, I'm like super sharp. I feel super clean. And then I'm just going. Like I don't feel as tired as when I'm eating meat. So you should try to build this habit too if you're serious about maximizing your effectiveness when you're actually doing your coding bootcamp. And we're on habit number 5, which is getting consistent good sleep. I'm gonna make it short. You just need to sleep well, or you're just gonna feel like crap the next morning, and then your effectiveness and efficiency on anything productive will go down. So this habit requires you to sleep at a regular time at night. Like for me, I try to sleep around, or get into bed, try to get into that sleeping mode around 9:30 p.m. and I try to knock out by like 10 p.m. And this also involves me trying to wake up consistently around 6 a.m. and keeping those schedules, the waking up and then the sleeping schedules, consistent throughout my whole week, to make sure that I'm getting a good 7 to 8 hours of sleep per day. Just start, you already know that you need to get good sleep. Start making this habit a priority and work on that right now, because it's gonna pay dividends when you're in the grind of a real coding bootcamp in your future. And then the 6th habit would be strategic resting. I know this habit might not be applicable for people who are planning to join an on-site live coding bootcamp, because I don't think you will have a chance to like go into your corner or whatever and sleep, knock out for like a 30-minute nap. But this is for people who want to opt for a coding bootcamp that gives you greater flexibility. Like the coding bootcamp that I'm attending right now, Thinkful plus Block, it's a full online remote coding bootcamp that's self-paced, right? So I implement the strategic resting to maximize my productivity. Whenever I'm feeling tired of like going through algorithm practices or just like really brain taxing activities, I knock out for 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this not because I'm lazy. There's always this guilt trip that you might feel for like taking a 15-minute, 30-minute nap. But remember, it's there, you do it, and you do it strategically to maximize your output. So I would encourage you to practice doing that, but don't over practice it and like knock out for like 1-2 hours and get nothing done. So it does take self-control, but if you do it well, it would really help maximize your productivity versus if you're really tired and you're just trying to grind it out, you're not gonna learn anything. And lastly, habit number 7, which is getting really technical or savvy with your shortcuts. This could be computer shortcuts, software shortcuts, and just any other like life hacks. But the ones that I prepared for this video and the blog would be, if you're on a Mac shortcuts, if you're on a Window shortcut, keyboard shortcuts, and even in like soft like coding editors like VS Code or whatever application that you're using to code, figure out those keyboard shortcuts immediately and then build them into your finger muscle memory, and then that would help save you a lot of time. And it's kind of like when I was playing video games like Counter-Strike or some real-time strategy games, like there's like an APM, which is like average clicks per minute or something, or average whatever mouse clicks per minute. And then my practice was to try to keep that really high, and then that really helps you move your brain a little bit faster. So the way I simulate the same kind of effect now is using this other app called Better Snap Tools, which I highly recommend. It's $3 and it'll be the best $3 investment of your life. So what it is it's a window management app where I've seen like a lot of my coworkers, especially when they use a Mac, like their windows are just like everywhere, right? They have this like nice 27-inch monitor that they've hooked their MacBook laptop to, but then like I would say 30, even like 50% of that screen real estate is just going unused because they just have floating like windows and that drives me crazy. So Better Snap Tools helps you organize that into cleaner sections so that you're utilizing the entire screen real estate of your monitor, right? And you can do that via keyboard shortcuts, where with two keyboard with the click of 2 keyboards, you can maximize your screen, or you can divide your windows into thirds, into quarters on your screen. It's just a super powerful tool for you to use to keep your brain working, and then to minimize the time it takes for you to, drag it. Use your mouse to drag a window to the size that you want. Cool. So that's all for today's video, which was talking about self-preparation, starting with the why you're getting into preparing for your coding bootcamp, and then the 7 habits that you should build right now to prepare for your coding bootcamp. Next up, we're going to be talking about courses that you can take to build up your software developer knowledge prior to joining a coding bootcamp. And I'll see you in the next video. This is MrAddOil, helping you fight your today for your better tomorrow. Peace.